Hello friends, this is your friend back with a new fanfic. What if Naruto and Tayuya were enemies turned something more? Episode 1. If you like this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Now, when a deadly battlefield encounter ends with an unexpected act of mercy, Naruto and Tayuya's destinies become intertwined in ways neither of them could have imagined. Now, let's start. The village was in near rags, but he had no preference about villages anymore. The people all stared and eyed him suspiciously. Then again, his clothing did not necessarily scream friendly at all. He wore a black mesh with an orange swirl on the back along with black pants with white flames on the bottom and black sandals. His hands were covered in black fingerless gloves and the lower half of his face hidden behind a black mask. On his back was a large black and white scroll. Sighing heavily, he put a hand through his blonde spiky hair. Where is this woman at? He asked himself. Once again, he was doing a job in some small country where his client was nowhere to be found because they were afraid of some overlord. At least there's pay. Yes. Naruto Uzumaki, a boy of just 12 years old, was a part-time assassin. His main job was running away from Jonin from Iwagakure no Sato and Konohagakure no Sato. The hidden leaf, he could understand. Hell, he had a run-in with Sunagakure shinobi a few years ago and they were still pissed at him. But Iwa, he had no clue why they hated him or wanted him for. He ruled out that they wanted the tenant in his head since they continued to refer to him as the sun, and not the demon. Either way, ducking and dodging tracking teams from certain villages was always number one thing he did. However, today was slightly different. He had been contacted by a woman to help with some problems she was having. Now, usually just that would never get his attention. But seeing that he would be in the land of his ancestors, he could not pass it up. Naruto Uzumaki. A voice said. Turning his head, Naruto saw the woman standing near a bar of some sort. Are you the Naruto Uzumaki? Sometimes. Naruto replied. Being obnoxious always left a mark on his customers. I assume that you are a tsunami, right? The woman nodded. So, what was your problem? Not here. Tsunami said. My place. Lead the way. Naruto said. The woman nearly scurried off and Naruto had to put a little extra energy into his steps to keep up with her. Naruto idly glanced at her hips from time to time. 12 or not, he was still a male and she was a perfect mate. Damn it QJII. Stop making me think about that. Naruto mentally scolded the fox in his head, gaining a loud, sinister chuckle in return. Once the duo made it to the small house of Tsunami, Naruto looked around. His house was bigger than this and that was saying a lot considering his house had to be small in fear that hunter nins would find it. Then again, his house did stretch underground instead. Here we are. Tsunami said. My father should be here soon. Okay. Now tell me what the problem is. Naruto said. The tsunami gave a sorrowful look. Gato. We feel as if he has hired an assassin, Zabuza Momochi. At the sound of the name, Naruto's eyes narrowed. Vengeance. So, will you help? Like I said, I don't have much so. Naruto stopped her by raising a hand into the air. For free. The statement nearly caused the woman to glomp him and face fault into the floor. From what she had heard, Mikase no Naruto cost a lot and was usually called to defeat a few bandits. This was a high-ranked Ronin and she assumed that it was going to cost more than she currently possessed. She was wrong. Naruto, on the other hand, was slowly slipping into the fox's grasp. There were certain times in his life where he allowed the Nine Tails to do whatever he pleased just as long as he did not break the seal or harm anyone important to Naruto. The deal seemed to be a profitable one as of date, seeing as Naruto has been pulled out of several sticky situations with the help of a being that knows the very fundamentals of using almost every kind of jutsu known to man. And if Haku just so happened to interfere and make things worse on him, he would have no problem giving the fox a body to run wild in. In fact, there was a new jutsu he had been working on as of lately. Maybe this would be the perfect time to use it. Oi, Tsunami-san. Tsunami looked at the short blonde. You said that your dad was returning. The Tsunami nodded. When? He left about a week ago to get help as well. Tsunami said. We were not expecting you to arrive at all. But when your toad arrived last night, I realized how wrong we were. Naruto nodded before dropping his scroll. Hi. Excuse me, I have to go check something. With that, Naruto quickly dashed outside. Zabuza Momochi, the demon of the mist, was definitely here. He knew that scent anywhere. Kit, you might want to slow down. You're not strong enough to take on Zabuza yet. Kyuubi said to Naruto. And if you get us killed, I will at least get the pleasure of devouring your soul forever in hell. Whatever. But if I can at least injure him, I can fight Haku one-on-one before turning my attention to Zabuza. Naruto replied. That's the dumbest thing you've said in a while. Huh, and just when I thought you grew a brain. Keep it up and I'll put a sound barrier seal in there too. Naruto shot back. This caused the ancient being to growl slowly. Now, we need to focus on his scent. Kakashi-sensei. Sakura Haruno called as the mist cleared. No way, Kiba Inuzuka said. He couldn't have, Sakura murmured. But he has the Sharingan. Sasuke thought as the three eyed their captured sensei. There's no way that he should have been caught. Zabuza chuckled deeply. I expected more out of you. But I guess that your reputation exceeds you. Zabuza held a single-hand seal, forming a water clone. Take care of the brats. We don't want anything getting in our way. Move, Sasuke said, grabbing Tazuna and jumping away. Kiba grabbed the injured Akamaru, leaving a stiff Sakura in the way of the clone. Before the water clone of Zabuza could swing its sword, Sakura's body was wrapped by something and pulled out of harm's way. After giving it a second glance, Kakashi realized that that something was actually someone's tongue. What kind of jutsu is that? Kakashi thought to himself. Sakura was sitting on the ground as the tongue retracted and shrunk into Naruto's mouth. I should have placed a seal on that. Naruto said, wiping his tongue with the back of his hand. Who are you? Kiba asked. Naruto flipped into the air and landed on the shore, half his foot on the lake's surface. Mikaze no Naruto. Zabuza stated. It's good to see you again. Unfortunately, you're not in time to save this one. The clone slashed through Naruto. Dobi. Sasuke thought. Baka. Sakura thought at the same time. That looked like that hurt. Naruto said from his spot in the tree. Shadow clone. Kakashi questioned himself. How'd he learn that? Naruto removed his left glove, revealing a seal on the right palm. He began running towards the clone at high speeds. Lightning sealing method. Byakurai. Kakashi's eyes widened as he saw something akin to his own Chidori form into Naruto's palm as the boy thrust his hand forward. A blast of white lightning rushed towards the clone that dodged quickly. The blast, however, continued to where the real Zabuza and Kakashi were. Water style. Water encampment wall. The clone of Zabuza performed the attack, causing a large wall of water to form in time to stop the blast from breaking the prison. A large stream covered the area after the two attacks met. What power? Sakura stammered. Just who is this guy? Sasuke thought. Naruto put his glove back on and gave a low growl. He did not have a lot of lightning to use that technique multiple times, but Zabuza had unlimited water. He had to find a way to get past the clone. But how? Is that the best you can do? You've grown weaker. Zabuza taunted. I told you that you weren't strong enough to defeat him, the fox chastised. Now what? Naruto smirked. We show them why we're referred to as Mikaze no Naruto. Naruto held a hand seal. Kit transformation. A puff of smoke surrounded Naruto, followed by a wave of chakra. When the smoke cleared, there stood a blonde chibi fox on its hind legs with 9 tails behind it. Team 7 gaped while Zabuza and Kakashi both noticeably tensed. That idiot. He just turned to some stupid fox no bigger than Akamaru. Kiba called. We're doomed. Sakura added. Dobi. Sasuke muttered angrily. That chakra, could it be that he's learned about it yet? Kakashi thought. Damn, this kid is pulling out the stunts early. Zabuza thought. The fight with Hatake has left me tired. Naruto nodded. Alright, time to do this. Naruto held a hand seal and his cheeks noticeably expanded before his now enlarged and stretched tongue shot out. This again. Zabuza shouted as the tongue shot underwater. Stop him. Zabuza's clone came directly for Naruto, who stood still. Move. Sakura and Kiba ordered in unison. Naruto grunted before dodging the attack. He was forced to retract his tongue in the process. Zabuza's clone continued his attack, coming directly for Naruto. Time for your swift style. Kyuubi said. Hi. Naruto thought. The sword sliced Naruto, only for his image to shimmer out of existence. That wasn't a clone. Kakashi thought. He dodged that at nearly twice the speed of sound. But how is that possible? Naruto's chibi fox body appeared behind the clone in a small whirlwind only to vanish again once Zabuza attempted to gut the fox boy again. Take this. Naruto shouted, headbutting Zabuza's clone in the gut, causing it to disperse. Shit. Zabuza thought as Naruto vanished again. Lightning sealing method. Zabuza saw Naruto in front of him now. Byakurai. Zabuza's eyes widened. Haku. Team 7 and Tazuna watched another explosion of mist erupted after the sound of shattering glass. Once the smoke cleared, Naruto was now in his normal form with Kakashi standing beside him. He freed Kakashi-sensei. Sakura said happily. He got away, Naruto panted. There, Naruto's eyes drooped. Tired. Naruto fell towards the water before Kakashi caught him. Naruto, sensei would be proud. Kakashi thought. Naruto saw the dark sewer that led to his tenant. He figured that there must be a reason he was summoned here, so he went to talk to the Baka fox. He soon came to the usual room where a statue of his mother, Kushina Uzumaki, stood guarding the forbidden passage that unleashed the Kyuubi's yin chakra. But his attention was towards the large cage that held the beast. Alright Kyujii, what do you want? Naruto asked. Kyuubi growled. You insolent fool. You chose to transform into that pathetic transformation, drawing out more chakra than needed, when you could have just transformed into the real thing. And risk you hurting the one-eyed guy and the others. I'll take my chances. Naruto said. Why? Are these mortals of any use for you? The fox questioned. No, Naruto replied. But I couldn't let that rat Zabuza get away without a fight. Besides, you know that I have Uzumaki blood in me. We always find a way to end up on top. Might I remind you that 2 of the last Uzumakis are out to kill you? Kyuubi asked. And the last time we ran into Hirako, we were lucky that Jiraiya was nearby or else. Naruto was silent for a moment. Hirako Uzumaki was an old man with a serious problem. He had dreams of starting the 4th Great Shinobi World War just to prove a point. With his seal that allowed him to use the Dark Release, he was a powerful foe. Naruto had attempted to redo the seal on himself, but could not. So he settled with the lightning sealing method and another that he had picked up in Sunagaku no Sato. Your skills are improving, Naruto beamed at the compliment. But that does not make you immortal. Yeah, say it, don't spray it. Naruto responded nonchalantly. Besides, we live, don't we? I had the fight in my hand this entire time. You're lucky that you have that swift release at your knowledge, the fox told its jailer. If not, you would have been sliced in half. And even then, you can only use it for a limited time because it tires you out. You need to find a way to use it without killing yourself or else they'll change your name from Mikaze no Naruto to Kamikaze no Naruto. Kamikaze no Naruto, it has a nice ring to it. Naruto was grateful that the cage stopped the clawed hand that would have crushed him like it was meant to. Instead, Naruto laughed. See you around QJII. And might I suggest cleaning up here once in a while? It's kind of dirty. The fox watched the boy's retreating figure with a dark smirk. One day, I shall have the pleasure of meeting you on the battlefield, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto opened his eyes. He could sense several living creatures around him. 7 humans, 1 dog, and fleas. Lots and lots of those little buggers. He's awake. Naruto recognized the voice as the pink-haired Screecher from earlier. He sat up to see her and her team along with the old man exhumed to be Tsunami's father, Tsunami, and a boy that he had no recollection of. Are you all right? Kakashi asked. Naruto nodded. Fine. Thanks for carrying me here, but I have a job to do. Naruto attempted to move, but hissed in pain. He removed the glove on his left hand and saw the lightning seal nearly burning into his skin. That's not good. Do you need something for that? Tsunami asked. Yeah, Naruto replied. Can you hand me my scroll? Without another word, the woman left the area. Wait, if you're a wanting man too, then why are you after Zabuza? Sakura asked. And how can such a small fry be such a big threat? Kiba added. Sasuke did not say anything seeing that his teammates had asked both questions that he wanted to know. Though, he would have asked the blonde how he had become so strong instead of how he became such a big threat. Sasuke knew that threats came in all shapes and sizes, friend, foe, or family. Here it is. Tsunami said, struggling to carry the large thing back to Naruto. It was much heavier than it appeared. Naruto took the scroll and opened it, placing his left hand on a handprint of the same appendage. The seal began to glow bright green as Naruto gave a small sigh of relief as the seal on his left hand became clearer. A dark red chakra outlined his hand before disappearing. That's better. Naruto said, slipping his glove back on. Lightning restored and hand healed. Naruto then hopped off of the bed, startling everyone. Now, onwards to find Momochi. Wait just a minute, Naruto, Kakashi said, gaining a curious frown from Naruto. We have to talk. Alone. Naruto then spotted the one thing he should have seen from the start. That cursed hate. So you're Leaf Nin huh? Come to take me back. Naruto said. Well, I'm not. I'm not here for that. Besides, I'm too tired to do anything about it anyway. Kakashi said. Naruto looked at Kakashi with a critical eye before sighing. Good. Now, this way. Naruto followed Kakashi, strapping his scroll on his back as he walked out the back. The two were eventually in the back of the house near the docks. So, I take it that you know most of everything, right? Kakashi asked. Naruto shrugged. Most of it. There are still some things I don't know. And what about Konoha? Any chance you'll be returning there? Kakashi said. Naruto looked at the sea in front of him. There are people there that worry about you. The Hokage, for instance. Naruto was silent before smirking beneath his mask. I take it that the law still stands. No one knows about the Uzumaki clan. No one talks about the nine-tailed fox. I guess you're right to be angry at that. Though, how you obtained the information is still far from legal. Naruto shrugged but Kakashi continued. But for the sake of your rising bounty, I advise that you either lay low on this mission or afterwards. I'll go home as soon as this is over, I promise. Naruto said. But until then, I have a mission to do. Zabuza Momochi will be defeated. Sure. Kakashi said. Kiba, Sasuke, and Sakura sat with one another after dinner outside. This guy is a nuke nin, and from the sounds of it, a pretty strong one. Sasuke said. We will need to take him seriously if we want to take him down. Why not just wait for Kakashi-sensei? Sakura questioned. You saw how fast he moved. He could be the one really after Tazuna. Sasuke said. You saw it yourself. He had a clear shot and Zabuza just disappeared. If he wanted to kill him, he would have. Kiba nodded. Makes sense, but what about that stupid fox move? If he transforms, then we're out of luck. Sasuke-kun can beat him. Sakura screeched. Beat who? The voice caused all three to jump in fear and whip their heads towards Naruto sitting in a branch above them. Yo! Kiba pointed. How'd you get there without me sensing you? Do you know how many foxes actually slip by a dog's noise a year? Let me tell you a lot. Naruto said, causing Kiba to growl. What? Who are you? Sasuke asked. Oh, that. Naruto said before jumping into the air and landing in front of the three with a weird stance. I am the heir of seals. I am the next sage of toads. The wielder of the strongest power known to men. I am the feared Mikase, Naruto Uzumaki. Kiba, Sakura, and Sasuke stood annoyed as they swore they saw flames rising behind Naruto. Sakura's left eye twitched. That's really annoying. Naruto fell, anime style onto the ground, face first. He did that to impress her. So you're some stupid nuke who everyone is looking after. Kiba said as Naruto hopped to his feet. But you're just a kid like us. How can you be that feared? Oh, that's easy. I'm stronger than you. Naruto said while rubbing the back of his head. You're not stronger than Sasuke-kun. Sakura yelled. There's no possible way that you are. Huh. Sasuke-kun, Naruto said as he eyed Kiba and then Sasuke. He walked to the Uchiha and stared at him. He then closed his eyes and crossed his arms. He doesn't look that tough. Now it was Sasuke's turn to be furious. How dare this dun down the last of the Uchiha? He would pay dearly for that mistake. How about a spar then? Sasuke said, knowing that the blonde still had to be tired from his bout with Zabuza. Right here, right now. Nah. Naruto said, turning around. Maybe next time. The statement threw Sasuke into a deep rage. Running through hand seals at lightning speeds, he inhaled deeply. Fire release. Great fireball jutsu. Sasuke shouted as he exhaled the large fireball towards Naruto. That showed him. Sakura thought. Wham! And that's why Sasuke-kun is the best. Inner Sakura added holding a V for victory sign. Sasuke ended his attack to see that Naruto was nowhere to be found. Rule of a missing nin, Naruto said, a kunai pressed lightly against Sasuke's neck. Never let your guard down. Sasuke quickly spun around with a punch. The blonde ducked the blow, thinking that it would be much more fun tiring the Uchiha out before he finished it. Though he was a bit tired from the earlier bout, he could easily tap into the fox's chakra and use the swift release, if push came to shove. Sasuke's foot connected with Naruto's side. The pain was bearable as Naruto landed a punch on Sasuke that knocked the boy backwards. Naruto did a hand seal before his cheeks puffed up. Not that creepy tongue moving again, Sakura thought with a quiver as she remembered how she was saved earlier. Naruto shot his now extended and expanded tongue at Sasuke. Sasuke dodged it, only for the muscle to quickly turn and pursue. How do I dodge this guy's tongue? Sasuke thought before freezing. That did not come out right. Sasuke threw several kunai at Naruto's tongue. Naruto quickly retracted it, seeing that he did not want any harm coming to his favorite muscle. He would never be able to taste ramen again if something were to happen to his tongue. Don't forget about me. Kiba shouted. Piercing fang. Kit, now is time for that secret technique of yours. Kyuubi said as Naruto dodged the attack. Right. Naruto said holding a hand seal. Ninja art. Beast mimicry transformation. Two tails. A puff of smoke surrounded Naruto before quickly vanishing. Sasuke, Sakura, and Kiba stood a bit horrified at the new Naruto. His blonde hair had grown and now had a much redder tint to it. His arms and hands were covered in a fine red fur, ending at his elbows. Two red tails were behind him, like his earlier transformation, though his eyes were red with fox slits. His mask dropped onto the ground, revealing feral whiskers on his face. What is this? Kyuubi asked. I feel my power slipping into yours, but my will not go into your mind. Call it a precaution. Naruto thought. Now, Naruto said to his two opponents. Are you sure you want to do this? Dobi. Sasuke called before doing the great fireball jutsu again. Wind release. Fox twister. Naruto called, whipping a tail in front of him. A twister appeared, absorbing Sasuke's attack. The twister disappeared, taking the flames with it. Naruto then ran for Sasuke. He's fast. Sakura thought as she moved to help her crush. Piercing fang. Kiba called. Forgot about him. Naruto thought, flipping over Kiba. Guess I should give him something to play with. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto said, creating another copy of himself. Now, let's differentiate between ourselves. You got it, boss. The clone said, doing a hand seal. Kit transformation. The clone transformed into the chibi fox from earlier. Let's go. Right. Naruto said, going for Sasuke again. Naruto's clone looked at Kiba and did a hand seal before shooting its tongue towards the Inuzuka. This again. Kiba thought of dodging the attack. Meanwhile, the real Naruto dodged Sasuke before swatting Sakura away with a tail. He mentally groaned as he was using this extra chakra for nothing. Inside of Naruto's mindscape, the legendary beast chuckled menacingly. That Gaki's divided himself, making it easier for my will to take over. Since he's using both transformations that merge our bodies partially, this should be much easier. The fox said as a line of red chakra went for the door with its yin chakra sealed inside. Soon, I will have my revenge. The red eyes of the Kushina statue began to glow, forcing the Kyuubi's chakra to retract away from the door. Curse you, Kushina Uzumaki. It seems as if only Naruto can open that door, the fox stated. Mark my words, Uzumaki. I will never fully merge with your son. Do you hear, my Kushina? I will wipe out the Rikudo's descendants one by one, starting with the cursed Uchiha clan. The eyes stopped glowing and Kyuubi could swear he heard the woman's childish laughter from when the two first met years ago. I hate this clan, Kyuubi muttered. Naruto had no clue on what the baka fox inside of him was shouting about, so he continued to focus on Sasuke and Sakura. Take this, Cha. Sakura called for a kunai. Pathetic. Naruto thought as he twisted Sakura's arm and flipped her onto her back. Naruto felt a strain of the chakra from his clone. Trying to restrain the fox while using its power is starting to become a burden. I have to dispel my clone. After dispelling the clone and learning Kiba's fighting style, Naruto smirked. He could feel his chakra returning to him at a fast rate. Now, Sasuke called. Naruto saw Sasuke and Kiba come for him. Using a small boost of chakra, he used his swift release, swift flying god technique, a move inspired by his father and his great-uncle Hiriko, and dodged both as his body shimmered out of existence. Where'd he go? Kiba asked. Don't move, Naruto said. Kiba and Sasuke both saw Naruto standing over Sakura, his left clawed hand generating a sphere of white lightning as he pointed the palm towards the pinket. One move and I blast her into the next life and then some. Sasuke debated about this for a moment. She was weak. She did get in the way. But she was his teammate. He would be no better than Itachi if he killed her for the sake of his own gains. You jerk. Fight us without using dirty tactics. Kiba ordered. If that's how you feel, Naruto said as the lightning began to grow. Wait. Sasuke said. We yield. Naruto knew Sasuke was lying, but went along with it anyway. Fine. Kai. In a puff of smoke, the boy had reverted back to his normal self. Surprisingly, and annoying in Sakura's case, the mask was replaced around the lower half of Naruto's face. Now, let's pretend that this never happened, okay? Sure. Sasuke said. Once the lightning was resealed, Sasuke made his move with a barrage of shuriken. Sasuke-kun. Sakura thought as she knew that some of them would hit her. Naruto stood frozen for a split second before removing the glove from his right hand. Iron sand. Iron dome. Naruto shouted as a dome of black sand covered Naruto and Sakura. No way, Kiba thought. Sasuke growled. That one outsmarted me again. Once the sand went back into the seal on the palm of Naruto's right hand, Naruto glared at Sasuke. What the hell were you thinking? You could have killed her. Naruto shouted angrily. Sasuke did not respond as Naruto's chakra built. He could already tell that this was going to hurt. You want to know why they call me Mikaze no Naruto? Naruto said, his eyes now red and three tails of red chakra sprouting from his back. I'll show you. Wind release. Devil storm jutsu. The three tails whipped in unison, creating a black spiral that shot into the air. Sasuke and Kiba watched the black twister turn in midair before descending on Sasuke. The attack hit the ground, sending debris and dust flying everywhere. Even Kiba, who was just standing near Sasuke, was blown away by the power. The tails receded and Naruto stood panting. That move was to be used only in a dire situation and he could only use it up to 2 times a day, and afterwards, he would not be able to use the swift release. Kakashi now held Sasuke in a tree, saving him from the attack. Naruto, I will discipline my students. Kakashi said, giving the blonde his infamous, yet creepy, eye smiles. Okay. Whatever. Naruto said, turning around. I'm going to take a nap. Don't bother me. Naruto walked off, leaving the team to stand there in a mixture of shock and fear. Sasuke, Kakashi said in a grave tone. Never, ever, pick a fight with him again, understood? Under no circumstance will you fight him unless I am there to make sure that it is a spar. Or what? Sasuke asked. Or he'll kill you. Kakashi answered, gaining a gasp from Sakura. Now that he pictures you as an enemy, he will not hesitate to kill you, even if that means breaking the bones in his body to do so. Kakashi-sensei, Sakura stammered. What was that weird sand? He's traveled around and learned how to seal certain attacks. He wears these seals on his body to fight, such as the lightning sealing method we saw earlier and the earth sealing method you saw just now. Kakashi said. He's undoubtedly one of the strongest ninja in his age group and could give a low Jonin, high Chunin a run for his money. Then why don't you take him down and take him in? Sasuke asked. Kakashi eyed Sasuke. Given his heritage, I doubt that when Naruto chooses to fight me one-on-one, I won't stand a chance. This caused all 3 of Kakashi's students to gape. That, plus the Hokage has given us strict orders about how to encounter Naruto. Never go in with the attempt to kill. He will pick up on it and defend himself. Naruto, Uzumaki, Sakura murmured. A seal master, Kiba added. A done. Sasuke finished. And I will defeat him. Wait to see. Naruto woke up and dispelled the 2 clones used for guarding. So Kakashi has checked on me twice, huh? Oh well. Naruto thought before hopping out of the tree. He raised his hands into the air and several paper seals flew up his sleeves. Time for breakfast. Naruto unstrapped his large scroll and sat it down before unrolling it. He eyed the seals that stored his food. He grimaced at the fact that he was low on ramen. He would have to steal and seal some later. So, begrudgingly, he settled with a perfectly sealed sandwich. When Jiraiya told him that seals would allow all foods to live up to 10 times their normal rate, he was a little skeptical at the idea. Now, he used it full-heartedly. Naruto looked up to see the tsunami. Kakashi told me to inform you that his team has gone off for some training. They are in the woods by the lake if you want to join them. I'm fine. Naruto said before looking at the tsunami. Say, do you know where an old compound is? Has this swirl on the gates? The tsunami paused to think before shaking her head. Sorry, I can't help you. But I'm sure my dad could. Tsunami said. Naruto groaned. He did not want to ask the drunken old man. But seeing that he had no other choice, he ate his sandwich quietly. Is everything okay? Last night, we heard about your fight with Kakashi-san's team. Tsunami said. Naruto grinned beneath his mask. Everything is fine. They just caught me off guard, that's all. After finishing his sandwich, Naruto rose to his feet. Now, where is old man Tazuna anyway? Tazuna wiped the beads of sweat from his forehead before he went back to work on the bridge. He was about to begin hacking away on another stone to shape it perfectly before a voice nearly caused him to have a heart attack. Yo. Ack. Tazuna flinched before eyeing Naruto's half-masked face. Baka. You almost caused me to chip the block. Really? Oh, Naruto said. I'm looking for a compound here. Compound. What would you know about any compound around here? Tazuna asked. Naruto smirked. Trust me. I would know. Now, where is it? It's important for my mission. Tazuna glared at Naruto. I'm not telling you where the last remains of our once lavishing country lies for you to defile it. I thought you were going to say that. Naruto said, rubbing his chin in a thoughtful manner. How about we make a deal? I will send in a few shadow clones to help with the bridge if you tell me where the Uzumaki compound is. The name of the clan seemed to cause all of the elder men to stop their work and stare at Naruto. Did I say something wrong? The blonde asked, looking around. What do you know about the Uzumaki clan? Tazuna asked. Well, if I knew something about them, I wouldn't be asking you about where their compound is, now would I? Naruto retorted. But if you must know, I ran into Hiriko Uzumaki a few years back. So that's how I learned of the clan's origins. You have no right. I have all the right. Naruto cut off. Now tell me where it is or I'll turn this island upside down myself in search of it. Tazuna and Naruto glared at one another as some of the men began to close in on Naruto. Using the fox's chakra, Naruto sent a killer intent that told the others that he meant business. Tazuna, not wanting more enemies than he already has, sighed. He reached into his pocket and handed Naruto a map. There. I hope you find what you're looking for. Tazuna said. Thanks. Naruto said before eyeing the map. This way. With that, the blonde dashed off quickly. He'll never find it. One of the men said. Those seals make it completely hidden from everyone. Tazuna sighed. That's what I'm hoping for. Sasuke sat on a tree branch and watched Kiba struggle and fail to run up the side of the tree and Akamaru doing nothing more but barking. Come on Kiba Baka. We all have to get strong if we're going to take down Naruto. Sakura called from a tree branch beneath Sasuke. I'm trying. Kiba barked back. Give me a break will ya? Kakashi eyed his teammates before he felt a chakra signature zipping past. What are you up to Naruto? Kakashi thought. Naruto paused and looked around. No gates. No walls. No houses. Just trees, grass, dust, and a view of the sea. This is where it's supposed to be. Naruto said. I sense an extreme amount of chakra in front of you, the fox stated. I do too. Naruto said before putting his hand on the ground. 5 elements grave seal. Seals that appeared to be chains raced along the ground to invisible locations. Naruto watched the chains wrap around previously unseen seals before the chakra was repressed. A large wall appeared in front of Naruto. Bingo. Naruto said before creating a shadow clone. Stand guard and keep the seal up. Hi. The clone said as the real Naruto hopped over the wall. Naruto looked around the area. There were several statues of different animals. More importantly, they were statues of the Biju. Looks like they weren't stupid. Naruto said walking towards the largest building. They knew what they were dealing with. Naruto could hear a low growl coming from his tenant. Something wrong QJII. No, the nine-tailed fox replied, though Naruto was far from believing him. Naruto opened the door and felt a chilling wind brush past him. He stepped into the building before candles lit up around him. Weird, Naruto said. The fox sat quietly. He had been here before. He knew why the candles lit up. Only one with Uzumaki blood would get the candles to light, they made sure of that. Anyone else would get a rainstorm of kunai and shuriken, followed by the erupting flames from the sealed floor panels. Yes, he had witnessed the destruction of this cursed clan far too many times. Naruto walked towards a large wall inside of the building that had a carving in it. He studied the carving, seeing a picture of a young Madara Uchiha fighting against a young Hashirama Senju. Behind the Senju were several trees, growing like a tidal wave above the Shadaime Hokage. Behind the Uchiha stood the nine-tailed fox. Naruto continued to study the carving and saw a woman fighting the Biju. Evidently, this woman sealed the fox within her. He continued looking before he saw a carving of the woman inside of his mind. The one the fox referred to as Kushina. She seemed to have had the fox sealed in her after the first woman. Who are these people QJII? Naruto asked. My former jailers. The fox answered. Not important, so let's get out of here. They were all Uzumaki. Why have you been sealed in only Uzumaki? And what does the Uchiha or the Senju have to do with this? Naruto questioned. Tell me, fox. I can't. I can say that it is more than a coincidence that my second and third jailers were Uzumaki. As for Mito, the woman you see at the top, she was just a strong combatant and caught me at a weak moment. Kyubi explained. Naruto began focusing on the information and what he had heard from both Jiraiya and Hirako. Hirako looked at the downed 8-year-old Naruto. Your father was a powerful opponent. You remind me a lot like him. Hirako said. You still lack that Uzumaki spirit, though your mother seemed to have passed something down to you. Hey Aro-sensei, a 10-year-old Naruto began. If my mom was Uzumaki, why aren't there many pictures of her? You seem to have a lot of my dad. Jiraiya looked down at his godson and grinned. That's because the Uzumaki clan like to live in secret. Jiraiya said. Don't worry though. Your mother is with you every step of the way so long as you draw breath. Like the fox in my head? Naruto asked. Jiraiya chuckled. Exactly like the fox in your head. She's my mother. The statement nearly caused the Kyubi to flinch. He cursed Jiraiya, teaching this boy to investigate. So, this Kushina chick is my mother. That's how I'm an Uzumaki. That's why I was chosen for you. Naruto said before turning around. I wonder what else is in here. I'm serious, Kit. Get out of here while you still can. Kyubi growled. Not until I find out everything I can. Naruto replied. About you. About the clan. Hirako's dark release seals. Nagato's freaking eye thingy. There's got to be secrets in here about it somewhere. You're playing with fire. The fox warned. Your clan was not as humble and nice as you may believe. Sure, they fought for the better of the world, but they were known for sealing me into their clansmen. And I am not a good influence. Ah, you worry too much. Naruto said, opening a door. Naruto immediately ducked several spears that would have impaled him. The fox sweat dropped. Okay, so maybe you do have a point. Naruto stuck his hand into the room to ensure his safety before stepping inside. He looked around to see dust and ash everywhere. No way am I going to be able to look at this entire place by myself. Naruto said, ungloving his right hand. Sand clone jutsu. The black sand poured out of his palm and shaped into a perfect clone of Naruto. The two split as the real Naruto headed directly for the dresser. Dark chakra is in there. Kyubi informed me. Yeah, I feel it too. Naruto said, opening a drawer. There was a small book covered in cobwebs and dust. Naruto blew the dust off of the book and opened it. Just some boring book about the Tsushigumo clan. Baka. The Tsushigumo clan is one of the last remaining clans built on Fuinjutsu. The nine-tailed fox chastised. You should find where they are if you want to know more about your worthless clan. Seeing that they're probably an enemy, I guess I should. Naruto said, pocketing the book. I wonder what else is here. Thought that pervy sage said that they were a secretive clan. Surely there's a secret passage around here some. Boss. The sand clone said as a flight of stairs appeared in front of it, descending into a basement-like area. Well, that was convenient. Naruto said, walking to the steps. Well, here goes nothing. Naruto and his clone began to descend into the dark and dusty area. Alright Fox, since you've clearly been here, Naruto said. Where the heck are we? Wish I could tell you. I honestly don't know. Neither Kushina nor Mito were allowed down here. Kyuubi said. If Mito was here, then it was before I was sealed inside of her. I see. Naruto said before candles along the walls lit up. Okay. That's creepy. Negative energy. The fox said. On it. Naruto said, walking towards where the chakra was coming from. Naruto's sand clone followed him, though both were thoroughly spooked. I wonder what Kakashi is doing. Naruto thought. So, you're saying he left for the Uzumaki compound? Kakashi asked Tazuna. Yeah. And he was really passionate about finding it. Tazuna said. Even if he finds the location, he'll never find it. They've hidden it from all outsiders. Do you know exactly where? Kakashi asked. Tazuna pointed. Good. Watch after my students. Before Tazuna could say anything, the copy nin vanished in a swirl of leaves. Tazuna grunted. No respect. Naruto had found several old scrolls containing bits and pieces of information, but none of what he wanted to find. There were several instructional scrolls about how one could seal fire or water or even chakra reserves. But none of that intrigues the young Uzumaki. He was on a mission, get strong or die. I don't see anything on that creepy eye thingy. Naruto said. Or anything about the dark sealing method. Maybe he created it. Naruto's sand clone suggested. Yeah, but there has to be some basics to it. Naruto said. Kind of like using the earth sealing method for the Sandame Cage's signature iron sand. Right. The clone said. A wave of killer intent washed through the area. What was that? I don't know. Naruto said before a figure came through the wall like a ghost. What the hell is that thing? Why are its eyes wrapped? How can it see? The clone asked. The creature held its hands towards the two blondes, revealing eyes in its palms. That's disgusting. That's a Te no Mi, the fox explained. It seems that whoever summoned it left it here to guard something. So if I want answers, I have to get through that thing. Naruto asked. Great. I knew this was going to be tough. Alright boss, so what do we do? The sand clone asked before looking around to see Naruto running for the steps. You baka. Naruto was close to the steps before they simply vanished. What's going on? Naruto asked. Someone or something dispelled your clone. Your seal is weakening and the clan's defense seals are taking effect. Kyuubi said. I told you to leave while you could. Yeah. Naruto said as he turned to see the demon and his clone coming for him. He removed his glove from his left hand. Good thing I charged up last night. Naruto held his palm in front of him. Lightning sealing method. Byakurai. The blast shot through the sand clone and landed on the Te no Mi. After the sand clone reformed beside Naruto, Naruto ended the attack. See. That wasn't so tough. Naruto said before Te no Mi regenerated in front of him. Or I could be wrong. The eyes on the hand of the demon began to give off a powerful chakra before blasting it towards Naruto and his clone. The two dodged it before scurrying down a corridor. How do we beat that thing? Naruto's sand clone asked. I don't know. It just keeps regenerating. Naruto called before hopping over the beam. And it's gaining on us. Stop. The Kyuubi ordered. I sense the origin. That way. Naruto followed the fox's directions before they came to a closed door with a large glowing seal on it. Better get rid of this. Naruto said. Wait. There's a dark consumption seal somewhere. The Biju said. The only way to defeat this is to destroy it physically without using chakra. I got this. Naruto's sand clone said before punching the door, becoming a pile of black sand. Naruto's sweat dropped. I guess it forgot that my chakra is what keeps it in shape. Naruto resealed the sand into his hand and replaced his glove. Oh well. I guess this is it. Tainomi slowly took aim at Naruto. Naruto watched with a waiting eye, preparing to dodge any way possible. He was not out of tricks yet. The demon launched an attack towards Naruto before Naruto's body shimmered away. The seal on the door absorbed the attack before blasting it back towards the being. Naruto reappeared in the spot he was previously in, seeing that the foe was no more. Alright, Naruto said before turning to the door. A 5 elements grave seal will only open the door, but it'll dry my chakra. So I'll have to go in there using no chakra at all. Straight man power. Don't break a nail. The fox joked. Naruto punched the door. His fist stayed on the door before he quivered and removed his hand. Ow. Naruto said, holding his sore left hand. Stupid door. I got something for that. Naruto removed his glove, disregarding the fox's rants. Lightning sealing method. Byakurai. Naruto's palm met the seal before being thrown backwards. Naruto slid on his back before rolling onto his feet, ignoring the burning sensation from his hand. The door opened. What? Naruto said to himself. Baka. Did you check to see if that was a blood seal? Kyubi asked. Naruto rubbed the back of his head. I guess I forgot. Heh. The fox went on to ramble about stereotypes of blondes and how it could be true if one based it on the great Mikaze no Naruto. Naruto walked into the room before the door shut and locked. Freaky door. Freaky room. Freaky compound. Freaky clan. Naruto shouted before looking around. Whoa, the library. Calm down, Kit. They all look the same. The fox said. Maybe instead of doing research for your perverted sensei, you should actually pick up a book. Says the fox that has a photogenic memory and uses those images for Kami knows what. Naruto replied, looking around. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto created 3 clones. Alright, time to see what we can find. Hi. The 3 clones said, going through the scrolls on the shelves. What do you expect to find? Kyubi questioned. Anything that will help me take on Hiriko. Naruto said. And then, it might not be bad to find a way to survive without Ero Sennin. Oh, and a way to stop you once you finally find a way to override the seal. You're smarter than I take you for. The fox responded. Yeah, and you're stronger than many people take you for. Naruto said. I can't take any chances. Kakashi looked around the clearing. There's definitely a chakra signal coming from this area, but nothing. Kakashi thought before sighing. And I really wanted to rest. Kakashi revealed his Sharingan, the compound coming to life as soon as he did. Did that just respond to my Sharingan? Kakashi asked himself. Inside, Naruto saw several seals appear along the walls. What's going on? Naruto asked. My guess is that someone has triggered an alarm of some sort, the nine-tailed answered. It might be best if you left. Now, I can take care of a few bandits. It's in my job description, remember? Naruto said. Now, let's continue our search. Zabuza hissed in pain. Though Haku's demonic ice mirror rose in time to shield him, the attack was still powerful enough to blast through and nip his arm. I am sorry, Zabuza-san. I was unprepared for his attack. Haku said. It's not your fault. I should have known that he would use that to save Kakashi. Zabuza said. I should have finished him off while I had the chance. Do you want me to take him out? Haku asked. If you can. Zabuza said. He held that swift release longer this time. He's faster and unquestionably stronger. If he catches you, it will surely be the end. I will keep my distance, Zabuza-san. You don't have to worry about me. Haku said. Zabuza looked at Haku. You are going to kill someone, even if that means going against your own wishes. Naruto will not stop until you're dead. I will make sure that you are safe. Haku stated. Do so. Zabuza said. And leave Kakashi to me. I will kill him myself. Hi. Haku said with a bow. Zabuza grunted in pain again as he checked his arm again. Was it just sheer coincidence that Naruto hit his right arm, or was it planned? The blonde did seem to be fighting a lot more disciplined since their last meeting. Zabuza smirked. Maybe this would be fun after all. Kakashi looked around the room before stepping inside. He eyed the floor, seeing hundreds of seals scattered about. Creating a shadow clone, Kakashi ordered the clone to walk across the floor. At first, everything looked okay, but before long, hundreds of kunai fired from the ceiling. The clone went to dodge before flames shot from the floor, effectively dispelling the clone. That looked painful. Kakashi thought. After the attack stopped, Kakashi realized that he would not be able to go inside the building, at least not through this entrance. He backed away and began searching for another way inside. One way or another, Naruto got inside and will not let his sensei's son die on his watch. Nuke Nin or not, Naruto read the scrolls that were there with his clones. Once he had a sufficient amount of knowledge, he dispelled his clones, one at a time to avoid a massive knowledge rush. Those were painful. Now, to get out of here, Naruto said before going to the door. He paused. Blood seal. Naruto bit his thumb and placed it on the door unlocked. Ha! Naruto opened the door to see 3 Te no Mi in front of him. Not good. Kakashi had no clue on what was going on, but he heard shouts, screams actually, and explosions coming from beneath him. Naruto, Kakashi said, doing hand seals before biting his thumb. Summoning jutsu. In a puff of smoke, Pakun stood in front of Kakashi. Pakun, I need you to find Naruto. Naru who? The pug asked. Sensei's son. Kakashi said, revealing a cloth with Naruto's sweat on it from the previous day. Here's his scent. Find him. The dog sniffed it before walking around. He soon stopped. Right down here. Pakun said. Kakashi nodded. Thanks. Now here comes the hard part. Naruto flipped over another one of the demons and continued running. Why are they after me? Naruto shouted. It's not you who they're after. It's me. Kyuubi replied. They can sense me inside of you. Well, do something. Naruto called. I can't. Your Forsaken seal stops me from ripping them and you to shreds. The fox barked. Naruto groaned. Stupid fox baka. I heard that. Kyuubi roared. Okay. Running isn't going to do me justice, and I can't use the grave seal because I'm nowhere near where the original source of chakra is. Naruto said before sliding around a corner. He soon stopped once he saw 10 more of the cursed demons. Oh, give me a break. Naruto prepared himself for a swift release, knowing that it would seriously tire him out, until he heard something that sounded like cracking earth. What is that? Naruto thought before a light poked through the ceiling. Oh come on. Not another one. Reikiri. Naruto saw the lightning-based technique blast through the demons. The Te no Mi turned towards Kakashi before disappearing in a puff of smoke. What was that about? Naruto asked before Kakashi looked at him. Are you alright? Kakashi asked. Naruto nodded. Fine. How'd you find me? The compound should have been invisible. Kakashi grinned beneath his mask. The Sharingan. Naruto frowned in thought. Naruto and his clones went through the library and its scrolls. Say, QJII, Naruto said. Why is it that the Uchiha don't seem to be in any of these scrolls? Did they hate the Uzumaki clan or something? Seeing that the Uzumaki were cousins of the Senju, they would have to be relatives of the Uchiha as well. Kyuubi replied. Someone must have gotten here after the destruction of Uzu no Kuni and took them. Possibly the same person who activated those to know me. So, how would they get in here? They would need the blood of an Uzumaki, right? Naruto asked. I don't have all the answers. Find out for yourself. The fox said. Naruto's eyes squinted as he thought. An Uchiha or Tsushigumo could have gotten into here and placed seals everywhere. But, like the blood seal to reach the library, that would mean only an Uchiha or Tsushigumo could stop those demons. I need arrow Sennin. Naruto muttered. So are you ready to get out of here? Kakashi asked. Hi. Naruto said before peering up through the hole. Let's go. Sakura and Kiba collapsed on the ground after helping the bridge builders for the majority of the day. Akamaru lied next to Kiba, just as tired as he was. Sasuke, on the other hand, stood over his two teammates, glaring at them. It was not that tough. Sasuke said. Up yours Uchiha. Kiba retorted. You guys look wiped. Naruto said, causing the three to jump in surprise again. Yo. Damn it. Sakura said before landing a punch on the blonde. Stop doing that. Kakashi watched Naruto land in a very odd fashion before turning back to his students. So, how was your day? Kakashi asked. He can't be serious. Kiba thought. Our day was horrible. Sakura shrieked. After doing your training for nearly 5 hours straight, we get put to help a bunch of old guys build a bridge. My back hurts and I'm nearly out of chakra. You know, Sakura-chan, Naruto said as he stood up. You should be happy to get that kind of training. It'll show the next time you're in a bout. Sakura crossed her arms. I don't see you helping. Of course. I carry this. Naruto said, sitting his scroll down in front of him. We could always change. You carry the scroll all day and I'll carry some blocks. I'm sure that'll be good. Where have you been? Kiba asked his sensei accusingly. Kakashi was silent for a moment. Naruto and I found a little girl's kite stuck in a tree and we got it out for her. It took both of you to get it. Sakura asked, her left eye twitching annoyingly. Who does he think he's fooling, Shanaru? Inner Sakura yelled. Actually, Naruto said, gaining Team 7's attention. We went to find a mythical compound that stays hidden unless one can disrupt the chakra flow from the building, got attacked by legendary demons, and escaped through an underground cavern. Team 7 were all silent, trying to process that before Sakura spoke up. You must think we're idiots. But, no Naruto, Kakashi said, interrupting the blonde. We should tell the truth. We were simply sparring with one another. Given our high chakra levels and dangerous attacks, we went somewhere away from everyone else to avoid hitting a civilian. Oh. Kiba and Sakura said in unison. Sasuke, on the other hand, sat quietly. He sparred seriously with the dove. There must be more to this Naruto Uzumaki than he's telling us. Sasuke thought. How about we get something to eat? Naruto asked. My treat. Well, since you insist, Kiba said, jumping to his feet. Let's go Akamaru. Yip. The dog barked in compliance. It has been a long day, Sakura said, following into step behind her hyper teammate at the mysterious blonde. Coming Sasuke? Kakashi asked. HN. Sasuke replied before following his sensei. QJII, Naruto thought. You know more about the Rinnegan, don't you? What gives you that idea? The fox attempted to stall. I know you do. It only makes sense. Naruto replied. So, tell me this, how does one obtain it since the scroll only told me what it did? Now that is something that I can't tell you. Kyuubi told his jailer. The original Rinnegan and the ones afterwards were made differently. One was the first dojutsu. The others were Kekkei Genkai. Naruto nodded as he continued to walk on. The next time he saw Jiraiya, they would have to think about this. One way or another, he would find his answers. His life depended on it. Naruto sat meditating in the backyard of Tazuna's house. He was secretly calming himself down after a long talk with Tsunami. Naruto did not mean to call Inari a spineless brat, but it was the first words he could think of that summarized the boy. And dinner was ruined because of that, and Naruto was forced to talk to the boy. Earlier this morning, Tsunami had scolded Naruto more for his actions, and now here he was. Keeping himself calm. Keeping the fox locked in. Naruto groaned. She interrupted his sleep and now she's interrupting his meditation. I hate to bother you, but could you run to the market for me? We're low on milk. I guess I could. Naruto said standing up. And while I'm out, I'll try to contact Ero Sennin as well. Tsunami handed Naruto some money, though the blonde refused it. Save it. I'll get it myself. Thank you. Tsunami replied before Naruto began walking off. Stupid loser and his stupid lazy status. Kiba muttered. If he's so great, why does he get to stay back and just sit like a rock? It's not like you could do anything about it. Sakura replied, gaining a growl from her teammate. She's right. Sasuke said. If what Kakashi said is anywhere near accurate, then he has some hidden power. Probably just some bloodline that he unlocked earlier than normal. Yeah, right. I've never heard of an Uzumaki clan. Kiba said. Probably just some made-up alibi to hide who he really is. Probably. Sasuke said. But until we know for sure, just keep a distance from him. I don't like him. He's a rogue and Kakashi thinks that he is capable of befriending someone. Me neither. He thinks he's so much better than everyone else. Sakura said. Kiba paused. Hey, Akamaru, do you smell that? Akamaru barked. Yeah. It's definitely him. Who? Sakura asked. Zabuza. Kiba growled. Naruto walked down the street, whistling a tune, as he carried the milk with him. Gama-chan had gotten a generous refill from some jerk who was picking on a few kids. Naruto chuckled. A few more donations and I'll be set for another few months. You're no better than he was, the fox remarked. Yeah, Naruto replied. At least I fought someone bigger than me to take their money. Not necessarily stronger than me, but clearly bigger than me. Kit, I'm sensing some negative emotions. Evil intentions. Your friends are in trouble. QB announced. I feel it too. Damn it. I just got this milk. Naruto shouted before running towards the source of the problem. Naruto hopped into a tree branch and began traveling branch by branch, hopping from tree to tree. He narrowed his eyes to see if he could spot the source. Fortunately, and unfortunately, he did. Please, leave him alone. Tsunami cried before one of the three men kicked a beaten Inari again. Stop. I'll do anything, please stop. Hey, anything huh? The man holding onto the back of her hair said with a smirk. Well, since it has been a long time since any of us has been with a lady, how about being our bitch for a few, I don't know, months? Long enough for Gato-sama to kill the rest of the rebels here and rid the world of you scum. As long as Inari gets. Byakurai. The powerful white blast shot through one of the man's stomachs, leaving a large hold. The man fell onto the ground, a pool of blood surrounding him instantaneously. What the hell was that? The largest of the three asked. That was me. Naruto said, now standing a few yards away from the remaining two. What do you think you're doing? Hey, it's another one of those brats. The man holding the tsunami said. Igor, take him out. With pleasure. The large man said, walking up towards Naruto. Naruto's eyes shot towards Igor as Igor froze. Wait a second, blonde hair. Blue eyes. You don't think that this is that brat, do you? Igor asked, looking to his ringleader behind him. I don't care if he was the brat of Kami. Take him out. The man replied. Igor shrugged and went to strike for Naruto, who shimmered away. It is. Igor shouted. It's Mikai's no Naruto. Shit. The second man said, revealing a kunai. Sorry babe, I'll have fun with your body later. Mom. Inari shouted as the man swung the kunai for Tsunami, who sat frozen. Inari closed his eyes, waiting for the sound of tearing flesh. It never came. In fact, there was the sound of a grunting man and his hyperventilating mother. Inari opened one eye to see black sand around the man's entire body. Iron sand. Iron casualty prison. Naruto shouted as the sand crushed the man. The sand retreated into the sea, leaving the dead man lying beside the tsunami. Naruto glared at Igor. This is the part where you run to tell Gato that I'm coming for him. Igor turned around, only to be facing 10 blondes. I lied. Inari could only watch as the blonde brutally beat the last man, finishing the fight with a quick slash across the large man's throat. As the blood splashed against Naruto's shirt, Inari could only think about what Naruto said to him the previous night. You're foolish if you think you can defeat Gato. Inari called as he pointed directly to Naruto. You'll just die like everyone else. You stupid spineless brat. Naruto shouted as he punched Inari in the gut. If you'd stop being so afraid and stand up once in a while, maybe you can actually protect those you care about instead of watching them die. Kakashi quickly restrained Naruto as Tsunami checked on her son. Why'd you do that? Sakura yelled. You wouldn't understand. Naruto said as Kakashi released him. I was like you, Inari. Scared. Running away from everyone. Always hiding. I damn sure didn't gain the respect I have by staying that way. Grow up. Naru, was all Tsunami could say before the boy stormed outside. She huffed before following him. Inari rubbed his cheek, tears falling from his face. He's right about one thing, Kakashi told Inari. He was a lot like you once upon a time. I'll get strong, just like you. Inari thought as he stood up. Inari wiped his bloodied lip and grabbed his crossbow. Inari, what are you doing? Tsunami asked her son. Mom, I have to fight back. Inari said. I have to avenge Kaiza and save you and Grandpa. I have to. Naruto walked to Inari. No. Leave him to me. You'll just be killed. Inari grunted and surprised Naruto with a punch in the gut. This caused Tsunami's eyes to widen in fear. Her son was a dead man. I can't run away anymore. I have to fight. And as long as I fight to protect my family, I will be strong like you and Kaiza. Inari said. Naruto chuckled before ruffling Inari's hair. That's right, kid. Now, if you can round up some more villagers, I will see you at the bridge. Naruto said. Inari saluted Naruto. Right. Inari ran off. Naruto, please, don't make him do this. Please, stop him, Tsunami said. Naruto looked at the woman. I can't. He's starting his journey of becoming a shinobi. Naruto smiled. But I won't let anything happen to him. That's a promise of a lifetime. Thank you, Tsunami said, bowing towards Naruto. No problem, Naruto said. Oh, by the way, Naruto sat his scroll down and opened it. He hummed in thought before unsealing the milk he had recently purchased. He held it out to Tsunami. Here's your milk. The Tsunami smiled. Thank you. I can hardly see in this stuff. Kakashi thought. And I can hardly sense Kiba and Sasuke. I told them to stay put. You're getting worried, Kakashi. Zabuza echoed throughout the mist. I can practically smell the fear coming off of you. Really? I didn't know what fear smells like. Is it appealing? Kakashi replied. I'm actually keen on daffodils. Stop mocking me. Zabuza shouted as he swung his blade for Kakashi. Kakashi caught this and dodged, though his arm was cut in the process. You're getting slow. Kakashi dodged the blade again and landed a punch onto Zabuza, only for Zabuza to splash into a puddle of water. Water clone, Kakashi said to himself. If he's not here, then where is he? Sakura stood in front of Tazuna, shaking a bit. Kiba and Sasuke had both left to fight Haku. That left her to protect the old bridge builder by herself. Please be okay, Sasuke-kun. Sakura thought. I got you. Zabuza shouted. Damn. Kakashi thought. Shit. Tazuna thought. Oh no. Sakura thought. Blood splattered onto the ground. Sakura stood frozen, clutching the kunai that would have done nothing in her hand, staring at the blood. Next time, Naruto said, staring at Sakura. I suggest you move. NN Naruto. Sakura stammered. Sakura saw the blade buried into Naruto's back. Naruto. Hey, trust me, this isn't the worst I've felt. Naruto said. Kakashi came for Zabuza, who quickly withdrew his blade and disappeared into the mist. Kakashi took chase, giving the son of his sensei a worrying look as he did. Naruto, you need help. Sakura said. Baka, what do you think you were doing? Where is Sasuke? Naruto asked. There with Haku, but where? Naruto asked in a more firm voice. Sakura pointed to the dome of mirrors she had spotted. Stay put. Naruto turned around, revealing that the cut was healing and his scroll was somehow still intact. Naruto jumped off, heading for the ice mirrors. I'm coming for you first, Haku. We can finish this once and for all. Naruto thought. Gato sat in his office, looking at the Ryo on his desk. Then a frightened man ran in. Gato-sama. The man said. Mikase no Naruto has been spotted fighting Zabuza Momochi. Gato smirked. Good. That takes care of both of them without me doing anything. The Mikase and the copy nin are working together. The man said. Gato rose from his seat. Gather some men. We're going down there to make another example of heroes in this village. Hi. The man said before leaving. Kiba and Sasuke stood back to back while Orochimaru lay beside Kiba, several needles sticking out of the pup. This feels like the worst acupuncture ever. Kiba said. This is no time for jokes. Sasuke said, his newly awakened Sharingan staring at the mirrors. He's coming out again. I'm ready. Kiba said. There. Sasuke said pointing. Piercing fang. Haku dodged Kiba easily and threw a barrage of thin needles at Sasuke. Sasuke was able to dodge some, but the rest stabbed him. Kiba turned with his attack, coming for the back of Haku. Haku quickly reformed into a mirror, causing Kiba to bounce off and land on his back. Kiba looked up to see several needles coming for him. This stinks, Kiba muttered before Sasuke covered Kiba. Uchiha. What are you doing? I don't know, I just did. Sasuke said before falling over. Make sure you kick him for me. What? No way, man. Get up. Kiba shouted. Kiba. Sasuke called as more needles came for Kiba. Iron sand. Iron dome. The black sand covered Sasuke and Kiba. He found his way in. Haku thought. Now the real fight begins. Kiba looked at Naruto. Why couldn't you come earlier? Kiba shouted, though Naruto stayed focused on the mirrors. Hey, I'm talking to you. Come on, Haku, we both know that you're not going to kill them. Naruto said. Why not just let them leave? They are here to stop Zabuza-san's job. I must stop them. Haku replied from his mirror. I see that you have recently learned a new move, the Byakurai. If you think it's strong enough to shatter my mirrors, then you're wrong. Let them go and we'll see. Naruto said, removing his scroll. What do you say? No. Haku called for Naruto. Naruto dodged Haku and Haku fused with another mirror. I see that you're already tired. This will make my job easier, Naruto-kun. You wish. Naruto said while smirking. I picked something up while reading one of Ero Sennin's books. Something that makes a great defense. What is it? Haku asked. Naruto's gloves began deteriorating into thousands of pieces of paper. The slips of paper began to stick to the mirrors. What is this? Haku thought. I don't need to find you to blow you sky high. Naruto said. By the way, this will hurt. Kiba's eyes widened as he saw the paper slips ignite. The area was surrounded by smoke. When the smoke cleared, Haku's mirrors still stood. You don't think that you were the only one who's trained, did you? Haku shouted for Naruto. Haku was able to slash Naruto's arm, aiming for the earth sealing method on Naruto's now bare right hand. Naruto held his hands up and, much to the surprise of Kiba, the paper slips returned, reforming his gloves. Byakurai is a one-shot move at this moment. Naruto thought. And the Devil Storm Jutsu will most likely miss him if he's still able to move around. I need to injure him like Ero Sennin did. Naruto sat down in the center of the area. What is he doing? Kiba thought before looking down at Sasuke. Uchiha, I swear that I'll get even with that cross-dresser. Haku began circling Naruto as Naruto simply meditated, secretly doing hand seals. Naruto's cheeks puffed slightly as the boy sat quietly. What are you doing? He's going to kill you sitting like that. Kiba shouted. Naruto ignored Kiba. He then opened one eye to see Sasuke's motionless body and then Akamaru's. Naruto smirked. Same old Haku, Naruto muttered before Haku came for him. Now. Naruto's tongue shot out towards Haku at lightning speeds. Haku saw this and quickly changed directions, only for his left leg to be caught and wrapped by Naruto's tongue. Here's my chance. Kiba thought as he took a soldier pill. Yeah, this will do. Piercing fang. Kiba shouted, twisting his body towards Haku. Naruto's eyes widened before he quickly retracted his tongue in time for Haku and only Haku to be hit by Inuzuka's wild attack. Naruto quickly stood up and ran towards the mirror Kiba was currently drilling Haku into. Lightning sealing method. Byakurai. Naruto shouted. Kiba jumped into the air leaving Naruto to aim freely at Haku. The two glanced at one another for what they knew could be the last time. Naruto groaned. Tomorrow's my 12th birthday and we're spending it sneaking around Kiri. This is boring. Be lucky you get to see it. The nine-tailed fox shot back. If it were up to me, you'd die where you stand right now. Naruto ignored the fox as he walked around the streets. Many people stopped and stared at him, his status of being the Makaze having risen in the last few months. He never really thought that playing pranks and defeating bandits was such a big thing. He was wrong. Makaze no Naruto, a voice said, causing the blonde to freeze in his step. My master wishes to speak to you. Master. That's okay. Naruto said, his hands now folded behind his head. Tell him that he can have an autograph later. My master does not want an autograph. He wants you to work for him. Become his fighting tool so that you may have a reason to live. Haku said. Naruto eyed the boy. Thanks to Jiraiya's special training, Naruto could easily tell male from female, no matter what they looked like. That's stupid. Naruto said. Why would I only live to fight for some guy who should probably get off of his fat and do it himself? Tell him that if he wants to speak to me, come find me face to face. As Naruto walked off, he seriously overlooked two things. 1. Haku was boiling red with anger. 2. He never knew that Zabuza was Haku's master. These two things would set the tone for the fight that ensued exactly 10 minutes from now. Take this. Naruto shouted, punching Haku with extreme force instead of using the lightning-based move. The mirror behind Haku shattered and the boy rolled on the ground. The other mirrors began to shatter, one by one until Kiba stood, cradling his injured dog. Haku stood up, his mask falling from his face. Let's be honest, Naruto-kun, Haku said. We wear our masks to avoid people seeing how weak we are. Naruto frowned a bit. You don't like killing as much as I do, yet you can allow it to show. That's the reason behind your mask. Partially. Naruto said, doing a hand seal. The other reason is because I don't want to be reminded of the beast inside of me. But yours is a good reason too. Haku's eyes narrowed. Ninja art. Beast mimicry transformation. One tail. Kiba watched Naruto transform in his feral state like the first night where they fought. Although, he now had one red fox tail behind him instead of two. Weird. Kiba thought. Come on Haku. You and I both know that there's still more fight in you. Naruto said. Haku revealed several needles. If you wish. Kiba watched the two run at one another at high speeds. Naruto threw a punch for Haku, but the ice user dodged it, tossing the Senbon needles at Naruto. Naruto's tail swatted the needles away before he pursued Haku, running on all fours. Is this guy some kind of half-fox or something? Kiba thought. Naruto went for feral swipes at Haku, who began flipping backwards to dodge them. When there was enough space between them, Haku stomped on the ground. Thousands of needles made from the water of the melting ice mirrors behind Naruto launched for the half-fox. Naruto raised his right hand, the iron sand appearing in front of him in the form of a wall and blocking the needles. This gave Haku a perfect chance to attack, and he did. Naruto turned his face in time for Haku's foot to meet his cheekbone. Naruto rolled on the ground before sliding on all fours. Haku came to Naruto again. Naruto began to dodge Haku's combinations, a feat Kiba only saw Sasuke doing after his teammate activated the Sharingan. Naruto ducked under Haku's foot and went for a leg sweep. The ice user leapt into the air, only for Naruto to spit his tongue towards Haku. After wrapping his opponent by the waist, Naruto flung Haku towards the ground and then retracted his tongue. Haku stood up in time to see Naruto running towards him. The water beneath Haku's feet became ice, and with a simple push, Haku dodged Naruto at twice the speeds he was formerly running. Crap! Naruto thought before Haku's needles landed in his back. Kit, I can't continue to heal you like this. You're going to have to block or dodge. The fox berated. This evens out our speed for the moment. Haku said to Naruto. Only for a moment. Naruto said before his body flickered out of existence. Swift release. Haku thought before Naruto appeared behind him. But he's still tired. Haku was able to skate away from Naruto, Naruto disappearing and going into pursuit for the smaller boy. This is amazing, Kiba said. The only visible thing was Haku skating on ice at high speeds, dodging blurs of black and red. Baka or not, that Naruto kid can put up a good fight. He refuses to use Byakurai or the Devil Storm Jutsu. He must be saving that for Zabuza-san. Haku thought as he continued to dodge Naruto. If I can tire him out, he'll only be able to use Byakurai. Swift release. Phantom barrage. Naruto's voice rang. Haku sensed Naruto's charge and began to dodge before a force knocked him into the air. No way. Haku thought. Kiba watched as Haku's body began to jerk and bounce from place to place in the air, confused on how Naruto was doing it. Then the boy in question appeared directly behind Haku, upside down. Naruto flipped once, throwing Haku onto the back of his head, neck, and upper back on the ground. I can't believe I'm saying this, but that was awesome. Kiba said. Naruto stood over Haku's body, his red eyes staring into the brown eyes of his opponent. I can't hate you for your loyalty, Haku, Naruto stated. And I do agree with you to a degree. When someone is protecting another, they become extremely powerful. But, kill me, Haku said. Naruto stiffened. I won't. Your will to live trumps mine. If I cannot defend Zabuza-san from those who are stronger than you, then I have no reason to live. Haku said. Come on, Naruto-kun. Kill me. There's no reason to kill you. Naruto said, turning around. Who knows? Someday in the future, we might actually be friends. You're going to kill Zabuza-san, aren't you? Haku asked, catching Naruto before he leapt off. I never go back on my word. Naruto simply said before leaping off towards Kakashi and Zabuza's battle. Haku closed his eyes. You live to serve Jiraiya-san, right? Haku asked as a beaten Naruto got back on his feet. I live to serve no one. Naruto replied. I'm going to be the strongest shinobi that ever lived and no one will look down on me again. I won't stop until I reach my goal. Haku's right eyebrow rose. But to do that, you will have to kill other great shinobi like myself, Zabuza-san, and Jiraiya-san. Not kill, defeat. Naruto said. But if anyone attempts to kill me, Naruto's eyes become red. I will have no trouble killing them, believe it. I can't let Zabuza-san die. Haku thought. Kakashi rolled out of the way of the blade again. This has to end soon. Kakashi said to himself. I don't know how much longer Kiba and Sasuke can last. You should worry about yourself. Zabuza called. Kakashi eyed Zabuza before both men were thoroughly stunned. That brat. Zabuza shouted as his legs were wrapped by Naruto's tongue. Zabuza clutched the decapitating carving knife. I'll cut your tongue off if I have to. Reikiri. Kakashi shouted. Zabuza froze as he saw Kakashi's arm coming for his chest. To the average person, Kakashi was traveling at high speeds, and that still remained true for a shinobi. However, Zabuza could see Kakashi moving at a slower pace with extreme accuracy. This slow pace did not mean that Zabuza could have dodged it. No, it was just the trained eyes of a ninja. Then he caught something he never saw coming. Naruto's eyes flinched as the metallic taste of blood splattered on his tongue. Damn it. I forgot that seal again. Naruto thought before he saw Haku standing in front of Zabuza, Kakashi's hand poking out of his back. Naruto retracted his tongue, spitting out the blood as the other three combatants stood frozen. Haku, Zabuza said. Sorry Naruto, looks like there's a change in your plans, Haku said. Haku, Naruto thought. Thanks. Zabuza said before swinging his blade for Kakashi. Loser. Zabuza's body jerked harshly as Naruto's fist connected with his face. Zabuza rolled on the ground as the boy now stood with three tails around him. Wind release. Fox Twister. Kakashi witnessed the strong attack land on Zabuza, the swordsman's body being beaten and cut by the wind before being thrown to the ground. Kakashi looked down at Haku and closed his eyes. Naruto must relate to him. Kakashi thought. Zabuza lifted his head, only to hear the crunch of his arm. Zabuza shouted in pain as he turned to see black sand around it. He lived to serve you. To one day gain your respect. Naruto said as he stood in front of Zabuza. And you just used him. You're a coward. Zabuza laughed. Your words mean nothing to me. But if you must know the truth, I saw hope in Haku. Liar. Naruto said as he applied more pressure with his sand. I have no reason to lie. Zabuza said. Haku understood what he was doing and he did it willingly. I would have never forced him to kill if he did not want to. Naruto's left hand began releasing lightning from the seal. Go ahead and kill me. Whether you believe it or not, I put faith in Haku. You lying coward. Naruto shouted, ready for the final blow. Bravo. Naruto stopped and turned to see a group of men surrounding Gato. What a heart-warming ending. Gato, Zabuza muttered. Well, if it isn't three famed ninjas in one place. Kapi Nin Kakashi, the demon of the hidden mist Zabuza Momchi, and the Mikaze himself. Gato said. Sadly this will be our last meeting ever. Men, take them out. Zabuza struggled to his feet before Naruto handed Zabuza his sword. If you meant what you said, Naruto said. Then do Haku's final will. Destroy the man that has been using you this entire time. Despite having to use his left hand, Zabuza grabbed the sword. Gladly. Zabuza said. Zabuza ran directly for Gato, leaving Kakashi and Naruto to watch. The men around Gato began throwing kunai and shuriken at Zabuza. Zabuza made no attempt to block them, as he continued for Gato, his speed decreasing. Soon, Zabuza was on wobbling legs as he held his sword into the air. Like I said, no one orders me around. Zabuza said falling. Haku, I've failed. Zabuza fell, face first in front of Gato, his sword leaving a small cut on the man. That was pathetic. Gato said. Men, take the rest of them out. Hi. The men shouted. A wave of killer intent washed over everyone as they turned to Naruto. It's about time to let me have some fun. Naruto said in a deeper, demonic voice. What was that? Sakura thought. His power, it's frightening. Tazuna thought. Now I may have my way with you meat bags until he feels that the job is done. Naruto said before smirking, revealing his lengthened canines. Naruto held a hand seal. Shadow clone jutsu. In a puff of smoke, there were hundreds of the demonic-looking boy glaring at Gato and his men. Amazing. Kakashi thought. You made a dear mistake, mortal. Naruto said. You have sealed your fate. The clones quickly dashed for the men as they scattered about the bridge. Kakashi could only watch as the real Naruto stood, smirking evilly. Kakashi could only watch the nine-tailed fox take over his sensei's son, knowing that there was nothing he could do. And this is where I beat you. Naruto shouted. His voice went back to normal as he did hand seals. Wind release. Devil storm jutsu. The black tornado launched into the air before coming towards Gato. No. I won't die by a brat like you. Gato shouted before the strong wind attack dispelled the clones and sent bodies flying everywhere. Whoa. Sakura thought as she shielded her eyes from debris. When the attack stopped, Gato's body was scattered everywhere, a small crater where he once was. Kakashi turned to see Naruto wobbling. Haku, Zabuza, live free. With those final thoughts, Naruto collapsed on the ground. That brat killed Gato-sama. One of the men said. Naruto opened his eyes to see that he was back in Tazuna's house. He turned over to see Sasuke lying on the floor beside him. He did not have to think hard to know that Sasuke's death-like state was the work of Haku. You were a real good guy and a strong shinobi. Naruto thought. Sitting up, Naruto spotted his scroll rolled up by the doorway. He slipped it on and then left the room. So you're up, Kakashi said with a grin. The bridge is nearly completed. That's good, Naruto said. And Haku and Zabuza? Buried, Kakashi answered. Naruto nodded before going towards the door. You're leaving. I thought you were going to come back to Konoha for a while. I can't. I have something else to do. Naruto replied. But tell G-san that I'll be coming back after a while. Where are you headed? Kakashi asked. Naruto grinned beneath his mask. Don't worry. Naruto walked out of the house, causing Tsunami to walk in from the kitchen. Was that Naruto? Tsunami asked. Kakashi nodded. Yeah. He's off to wherever it is he goes. Oh. And I didn't get to thank him either. Tsunami said. Tazuna grinned as he watched the other bridge builders and a few other civilians work diligently, putting the last pieces of the bridge together. He eyed his grandson helping as much as his young body would allow. He looks happy. Naruto said, walking up to the old man. He is. Tazuna said. I don't know what you said to him after last night, but he's really gotten back his confidence. Naruto said before setting his scroll onto the ground and unrolling it. He unsealed a small book. Make sure that he gets this. A book? Tazuna asked. Yeah, it's Ero Sennin's first book. Naruto said. It'll help him. Trust me. And where are you going? Tazuna questioned. Naruto grinned. Don't worry, old man. I'll be back around to make sure no one else has taken over this place. Tazuna watched Naruto walk away, heading for the bridge. It seems that even in small numbers, the Uzumaki clan is still as dangerous as ever. Tazuna thought. Naruto. Sakura called. Naruto looked over his shoulder to see Sakura and Kiba running towards him. How are you even alive? That sword cut right into your back. Sakura exclaimed. Naruto scratched the back of his head. Well, I shielded most of it with some sand, but I was unable to get enough to block the entire thing. But I'm fine, believe it. You sure gave Gato a bite in the. Kiba said. Well, training will do that for you. Naruto replied. If you ever need me, well, just hope that I'm in the area. Kiba and Sakura sweat dropped as Naruto laughed and walked off. I wonder what's beneath his mask. Kiba said. Sakura groaned. Just another mask. He's worse than Kakashi-sensei. Yeah. But I'll beat Naruto one day. Kiba said. Right, Akamaru? Yip. Yip. The pup replied. Naruto smiled as he made his way across the bridge. Another day, another prank. Naruto thought before snapping his fingers. Elsewhere in the village, a chibi Naruto burst into flames causing many civilians to stare in disbelief. Mikai's no Naruto has struck again. Naruto yawned as he made his way out of his bed. Thankfully no one was around to see the frog pajamas he wore with the nightcap to go along with it. Thankfully, he slept with his mask on. He walked to his refrigerator and opened it to get some juice. It had been months after the battle on the bridge and Naruto has been living rather peacefully sans the few bandits that he passed on the way home. Jiraiya had stopped by a few times giving him news about the upcoming Chunin exams in Konoha, though Naruto really did not care. Give me a break. Naruto muttered before dodging multiple shuriken that were aimed for him. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto created 4 clones that quickly jumped through his window. He pursued his clones and looked around. Alright, come out. I know you're there. Naruto said. To his surprise, 5 ninja appeared. Sound nin. Naruto thought, seeing the headband on a boy with 6 arms. Naruto Uzumaki, right. A sickly-looking boy said. Naruto nodded. My name is Kimimaro Kagaya. We've met before, remember? A young Naruto nearly ran as he tried to keep up with Jiraiya. Oi, Aro-sensei. Where are we going? Naruto asked. To see an old friend of mine. Jiraiya said before the two walked past a woman and a young Kimimaro. Stay close. Naruto looked behind him at Kimimaro, who had done the same act. The two parties stopped. It's good to see you again, the woman said. Or do you not remember me, Jiraiya? I know who you are. Jiraiya said. Is that his son? The woman asked. Yes, and currently my student. Jiraiya replied. I see that you've found a new Anko. The woman's shoulders jumped. Sleep lightly, Tem. You too, done. The woman said as the two began walking away. Naruto and Kimimaro looked at one another before Naruto waved and ran to catch up to Jiraiya. Kimimaro frowned at the act before a small smile came on his face and he ran towards Orochimaru. You were with that weird lady. Naruto said before a clone brought his large scroll to him. So what do you want? Don't think that you're going to fight us all. A boy said with a smirk. You wouldn't last 5 minutes with us. Wouldn't think about it. Naruto said, opening the scroll and pressing his hand on it. A puff of smoke surrounded Naruto and when it was cleared, he was fully dressed. Now, where were we? We came to ask for your services. Kimimaro said. Lord Orochimaru wants. Oro-tem. Why would I work with him? Naruto asked. HMPH. Don't know why he wants this little shithead anyway. The redhead girl said. Just what's so special about him anyway? Naruto grinned beneath his mask. I'll show you why. Naruto did a pose. I am the future seal master of Mount Myobokuzen. The boy that many girls want to start clans with. I am the feared Mikaze, Naruto Uzumaki. A strange lightning bolt shot behind Naruto on the ground, causing 4 of the 5 teens to stare annoyingly at Naruto. That is, before the redhead bopped Naruto on the top of his head. Don't ever do that shit again. Tayuya shouted. Why is it that it's only the girls that get annoyed by that? Naruto thought as the fox chuckled at its jailer's predicament. Before Naruto could stand up, the girl grabbed his collar and hoisted him into the air, shaking him violently. The 6-armed boy's sweat dropped. Seems as if Tayuya likes him. We don't have time for this. Kimimaro said, causing the girl, Tayuya, to drop Naruto. Despite his antics, Naruto is a respectable shinobi, able to take out all 4 of you one-on-one. Doubt it. Sakin, don't be stupid. You, Kidomaru, Jirobo, and Tayuya are only effective as a team. Kimimaro cut the boy off. Now, Naruto, Lord Orochimaru needs your stance. A fist of black sand punched Tayuya away from Naruto, causing Sakin, Kidomaru, and Jirobo to tense up by how serious Naruto had become. What does he want? Naruto asked, his arms crossed. There is an invasion on Konoha, Kimimaro began. You would be a valuable asset to our success. And why would I want to help him take out the hidden leaf? Naruto questioned. Because they shunned you. Kimimaro responded. They deserve your scorn. You deserve vengeance. Naruto eyed the other four members carefully. What do you think about QJII? Naruto thought. You could possibly take the fat one out without trying. The other three, you will have to put the effort into. QB replied. And then Kimimaro, he's a Kagaya, so look out for his Kekkei Genkei. So he wants me to do what exactly? Naruto asked. Kidomaru smirked. He wants you and your pal Gaara to destroy the village completely. Gaara. You mean Yondaime Kasuke's son? Naruto replied. Kimimaro nodded, gaining a laugh from the blonde. Good luck with that. There are only two people living that have the Iron Sand release. Kimimaro said. You and Akasuna no Sasori. Your sand defense is the only thing that can nullify him. That, and your status of a Jinchuriki would. Kimimaro was interrupted by a fit of coughs, gaining a frown from Naruto. Excuse me. I have been feeling ill lately. Terminal illness. QB said. If you learn how to speed the process up, you may get out of here alive. Naruto said. Anyway, he wants me to go into Konoha, fight a guy that nearly killed me to get the Sandaime scroll, and then somehow escape from hundreds of Anbu. No matter how good I am, I don't think that I'm that good. Duh, Kidomaru said. Just another question, Naruto said. If Orochimaru wanted me to do this, why not come himself? Why did he send you 5 instead? Surely he doesn't think that I can beat him. No. He is currently undergoing a change. Kimimaro said. Look, are you helping us or not? Sakin asked. I'll think about it. Naruto replied, gaining a few sweat drops. Why you stupid piece of shit? Tayuya shouted, running directly towards Naruto. The four boys watched Tayuya throw a punch at Naruto, only for him to catch it. Naruto's eyes connected with Tayuya's before his left hand began to generate electricity, shocking her. The girl was forced to her knees. If this is the best you can do, I see why you need help. Naruto said. Arrogant little punk. Kidomaru called before firing several small arrows of webs towards Naruto. Naruto shimmered away before appearing behind Kidomaru. Both Jirobo and Sakin flinched as Kimimaro stood calm. That is a neat technique. Kimimaro appeared beside Naruto. Your speed is quite admirable. This little shithead is as strong as Kimimaro says. Tayuya thought. Naruto's clones began to dispel. I will be in Konoha in 4 days. That's a yes. Kimimaro asked. Yes. Naruto said, walking towards his house. And tell Orochimaru, I'll be expecting a hefty pay. We will. Kimimaro said before pointing to Tayuya and then Jirobo. Tayuya and Jirobo will stay with you until it is time. Naruto frowned. We cannot allow you to tell someone else of our plans. It is a safety measure. Fine. But I'm not feeding him. Naruto said, thumbing towards the large Jirobo. Why you little Jirobo? Kimimaro interrupted. I will personally kill you if this does not go in Lord Orochimaru's favor. That doubles for you, Tayuya. The redhead scoffed and rolled her eyes. And that's only if he doesn't kill you first. Sakin. Kidomaru. Let's go. Naruto watched the 3 boys leap off, following them by their chakra trails for as long as he could. You got anything good in there to eat? Jirobo asked. Naruto groaned. It was time for an emergency trip to the store. A figure lurking in the shadows watched Kimimaro, Kidomaru, and Sakin from a distance. What did they want with Naruto? The voice asked itself before leaving for Naruto's place. Time to see for myself. Quote. Naruto was absolutely speechless as Jirobo had nearly cleared his entire stash in his refrigerator. He was partially happy that he forgot to unseal the things he picked up on his way to and from Wave. Laziness sometimes worked in his favor. As for the girl, Tayuya seemed to be busying herself with constant jabs and mocks towards Naruto and her teammate. Occasionally she would give him a stiff middle finger or a roll of her eyes, but currently, she was too busy looking at Jirobo with disgust. I'm going to meditate. Naruto said standing up. Don't go running off. Jirobo said as he paused in his consumption. We'll just find you. I'm sure, Naruto muttered while walking out of the house. Naruto moved to a space away from his home and sat down. A large seal appeared around him that temporarily made him invisible and unheard. What is it? You're getting good. Naruto smirked. Come on, Itachi. You give me more credit than that. Itachi Uchiha stepped onto the seal. I spotted some of Orochimaru's men leaving this way. Itachi said. I thought that maybe something had happened. They want me to help them take out Konoha. Naruto said. This gained a glare from Itachi. I know. It's not like I want to do it either. Then why are you? Itachi asked. I'm not. Naruto answered. Getting me into the village via Orochimaru will throw off the snake's suspicion. Once we have him cornered, then we can rid the world of that snake once and for all. Don't underestimate Orochimaru. Itachi said. Naruto nodded. As for your recent mission to Wave, you saw Sasuke, right? Again, Naruto nodded. Has he reawakened the Sharingan? Fortunately. Naruto said. He used it against Haku, though with the inexperience that he had, it just delayed the inevitable. Haku still knocked him out. Itachi stood quiet for a moment. Not to start anything, Naruto continued. But your brother's become a theme. He's all arrogant and thinks highly of his clan. He attempted to seriously injure his teammate in exchange for impaling me and probably collecting on my bounty. Then his hatred has grown, at least for Nuke Nin. Itachi said. The Sasuke I remember would have tried to protect this teammate. He has the potential to be far greater than I am. Naruto smirked. So should I worry about him coming to fight me to capture QJII instead of you? Not if I am successful. Itachi said. Good luck then. I kicked his sari once and I can. Naruto was abruptly stopped by the killer intent followed by the activation of the Sharingan from Itachi. What I meant was. Itachi smiled. You will take care of him, Naruto. I am sure. Itachi's smile dropped. I must go. But before I do, Yakumo Kurama was injured during her last mission with Squad 8. If you want access to the Forest of Death, then I suggest you use that to your advantage. Naruto squinted, but nodded anyway. Before he had a chance to ask, Itachi deteriorated into a flock of crows and flew off. The seal around Naruto slowly vanished as he hopped to his feet. I must get to Konoha. Naruto said before turning around to meet the brown eyes of Tayuya. Gah. Wham. What was that for? For scaring the hell out of me. Tayuya replied. Just where the hell were you? Quote, quote. Quote, quote. Here. Wham. Ouch. QB sat silently as he remembered an event very similar to this one. Kushina, the fox muttered. Get your back up there, shithead. No way am I going to lose sight of someone so pathetic. Tayuya said. I can't. Naruto said. I just got information about Konoha and I need to get there ASAP. How did you get that information? Tayuya questioned with a chilling glare. I have this really cool seal, and it allows me to see what I want. Naruto said, rubbing the back of his head. The glare harshed, making him sweat a little. Do you want to see it? What did you see? Naruto fought to retain the loud sigh of relief but grinned beneath his mask. I can pose as a leaf nin. Naruto proclaimed. Tayuya's glare did not falter as he began to explain. You see, one of the Genin team's teammates was injured and they need a replacement. Since me and the old coot running the place go way back, I can easily gain his trust and be put on a team. Simple, right? And what about us? Tayuya asked. I guess you'll just have to wait outside the village until then. Naruto said. No point in risking the entire mission over the simple stupidity of one loudmouth girl. Though, she is kind of cute. Fine go but hey. Tayuya shouted before Naruto shimmered from in front of her. Shithead. Now running full speed towards the direction of Konohagakure no Sato, Naruto idly thought about the secrets that they could learn from his home. So he paused, doing a few hand seals, and then slammed his hands on the ground. What do you think is in there? Jirobo asked. His secrets, fat ass. Now, open it. Tayuya ordered as Jirobo punched the door down. The two froze as Tute no Mi stood in front of them. Damn, this is bad. Thank you, Uzumakis of all kinds. Naruto said before running off. In Konoha, the Sandaime Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, sat at his desk eyeing the papers of Shino Aburame and Hinata Hyuga. He felt bad that the two of them would not be able to become Chunin because their teammate was critically injured doing a mission. They both showed potential. Spying on me now, Hiruzen said with a small chuckle. I didn't think that I'd make one of your books. Even in your old days you're still as sharp as ever. Jiraiya said from a corner in the room. I came to see what was going on for the upcoming Chunin exams. I saw a team from Suna. The Casecage's son. This is the start of a new alliance. Hiruzen said. I take it that Naruto did not come with you. Jiraiya grinned. Ah, you know he's big enough to watch himself. He doesn't need me half the time. And the other half? Hiruzen asked. Relax. The Gaki is probably just lying around, resting. Jiraiya said. You must have heard about the run-in in Wave Country. He says that Kakashi was a real help in defeating Zabuza and Haku. I heard. The Hokage said. I also heard that he was in search of the Uzumaki compound. I thought you said that even you couldn't find it. I can't. Jiraiya stated. Then again, Naruto's intel surpasses my own to a degree. He's made several friends while traveling with me. And what of the Kyuubi? Hiruzen asked. He and Naruto's relationship is proving. I still don't know what seal Kushina used to retain the fox's yin chakra, but it has been completely repressed. Jiraiya explained. When Naruto slips into the demon's grip, only the yang chakra is used. Still, with only half of its chakra, it's still quite powerful. I bet. Hiruzen said. Naruto sneezed once more. Damn, someone must be talking about me a lot. Naruto was currently still running towards Konoha. His mind was set on what he was going to say to the Hokage. Though he did not hold anything personally against the old leader, he clearly did not want a sob fest. Naruto then thought about Orochimaru. If the Snake Sannin were able to do whatever it is he truly has planned, then this could spell the end for the Hidden Leaf. Though Naruto was not affiliated with the village in almost any and every way possible except his birthplace, he did not want to see it destroyed. He needed it standing for his final prank. If I keep this up, I should be in Konoha in no time. Naruto said. But I might want to go with caution. No telling what they will do to me now. Or me. The fox added. If you can find any way possible for them to harm you without harming me in the process, I'd love to hear it. Naruto said. The nine-tailed fox had no response, causing the blonde to smirk. I didn't think so. You might want to hurry. If those two from Orochimaru catch up to you, you might be put into a battle, the fox said. While their normal strength seems minimal, I'm sure that even you saw the mark on the girl's neck. Yeah, it creeped me out and gave me a good idea at the same time. Naruto said. I just wish someone or something could keep them preoccupied. Tayuya and Jirobo were now in pursuit of Naruto. The redhead had already expressed her intentions on either castrating the blonde or just strangling him to death. Jirobo silently prayed that she chose the second one. He would put no man through the first pain. Stop. The calm voice of Itachi said. The two stopped dead in their tracks as the Akatsuki member stood in front of them. Where is he? He who? Tayuya asked. Naruto Uzumaki. He's not here. Jirobo said. We're looking for him as well. Shut it, fatass. Tayuya hissed before turning to Itachi. Just what the hell do you want with the shithead anyway? I thought you Akatsuki only did jobs that would be considered S-ranked. He is the Kyuubi no Kitsune. I am hired to capture and extract the beast from him. At the sound of this, both sound nins tensed. They would have to protect the missing blonde from Itachi Uchiha, the Itachi Uchiha. Now, where is he? We don't know. And even if we did, we wouldn't tell you shit. Tayuya proclaimed, though the more sane side of her was beating herself against a wall. She activated her curse mark. I see you mean business. Itachi said, closing his eyes. Tayuya, the genjutsu user of the Sound 5. Third next to Kimimaro and Sakin respectively. Tayuya frowned. How did he possess such information? Itachi opened his eyes, revealing his 3-time Sharingan. Let me show you what a real genjutsu looks like. Shit. Close your eyes, fatso. Tayuya ordered as she closed her eyes and bit her thumb. Summoning jutsu. She's going to fight me blind. Intriguing. Itachi thought as he stared at the 3 doki. Tayuya began playing her flute, causing the doki to run directly for the Uchiha. Orochimaru's pawns show a lot of potential. Itachi easily dodged the doki as Tayuya continued playing, using the slightest of sounds to find Itachi. Jirobo activated his curse mark into level 1 and opened his eyes. Seeing Itachi caught up with Tayuya's doki, Jirobo shot his hands into the ground before lifting a large piece of earth over his head. He launched the piece of ground towards Itachi, who smirked. Itachi skillfully flipped over the attack, his hands running through hand seals at blinding speeds. Fire release. Great Fireball Jutsu. Jirobo quickly jumped out of the way, grabbing Tayuya as he did so. The girl huffed angrily before continuing with her attack. Itachi landed on the ground and saw the doki release a white worm-like substance from their mouths, heading for him. Itachi's 3-time Sharingan quickly transformed into the Mangekyo Sharingan before he dodged the attack. His speed picked up drastically. Tayuya thought. Itachi appeared in front of Jirobo, who froze. Jirobo's eyes connected with Itachi's briefly before Itachi landed a spinning kick on the large boy that sent him flying backwards. Jirobo looked to see Itachi now behind him, hitting him into the hair. Several crows flew past Jirobo before balling up and reforming into the Uchiha. Itachi landed a kick directly on Jirobo's face, causing him to fall headfirst to the ground. Single quote exclamation mark. He's not playing around. Tayuya thought. There's no way I'm going to survive this. It's all shithead's fault. Itachi was now in front of Tayuya, hitting her with a punch that caused her to slide on her back. Tayuya rolled to her feet, her skin beginning to darken. Her cap fell off, 5 horns sprouting from her head. Tayuya played her flute again, her doki now moving at twice the speed they previously were. The sound of Itachi's cloak ripping into shreds reached Tayuya's ears and she smirked. His chakra signal was gone. She opened one eye to see his cloak ripped and on the ground, blood everywhere. So maybe he was overrated. Tayuya said before dispelling her doki. Shit. A large fireball blasted in front of Tayuya, sending her rolling backwards. You should tell Orochimaru that the fox is ours. Itachi stated. He will know what I mean. With that, the Uchiha disappeared in a flock of crows, knowing his job was done. Naruto would be able to sneak into Konoha now without the Sound 5 interfering. He could protect the village like his father wanted. That night, a figure crept around the gates of Konoha. Several of Anbu saw said figure and moved to attack, only for the thing to disappear on contact. While many of the civilians had no clue on what was going on in their village, the shinobi and Hokage did. What do you want us to do? Kakashi asked Hiruzen standing with the other Jonin sensei. Let him enter. Keep an eye on him. Hiruzen said before the 4 Jonin sensei disappeared out of the room. I wonder why he came. Jiraiya said from the windowsill. It must be important. Naruto looked around the village. He had snuck into a maximum of 4 hidden villages: Sunagakure, Kusagakure, Hoshigakure, and Getsugakure. Out of those 4, only one of them was actually tough getting in and out, Sunagakure. Now as he scaled the buildings and alleys of the Hidden Leaf, he realized how inexperienced he really was. Sure, staying out of sight was easy. But staying out of sight and reaching his goal was harder. And the leaf Anbu only made things worse. Okay, Naruto said to himself. Several clones have dispelled and the Hokage's office is just up ahead. Kakashi has a Sharingan and can predict where I'll appear with swift release. So that means that I'm down to the one thing I do best. Naruto held a hand seal. Transform. Naruto transformed into a masked Anbu officer that appeared in his early 20s. Naruto grinned beneath his mask before hopping towards the Hokage's office. So far so good. Naruto thought. Hey. Naruto cursed his luck before turning to see the purple-haired Anko. His face went red as he eyed the fishnets that barely covered her. Where are you going? Naruto was silent as he thought of an excuse. Bathroom break. You really are pathetic. Go. Anko said before Naruto went to leap off. By the way, I'm only doing this because the Hokage said so. Had I been anyone else, you would have been killed on sight, Naruto. Naruto gulped before hopping away. I bet he'll look hot when he's older. Anko thought as she licked her lips. Perfect. Hiruzen waited in his office as the door opened. He exhaled a plume of smoke as the Anbu officer walked in. The crazy snake lady is still crazy. Naruto said, ending his henge. And the other shinobi are still clueless as ever. I thought sneaking in here would be a lot easier. It wasn't. I'll have to teach you that later. Jiraiya said. But first, as we practiced. I need to know who you are. Naruto sighed before slowly slid his mask down, enough to show just one set of whiskers on his face. He replaced his mask with an annoyed look. The marks only reminded him daily that even with all the safety precautions, the fox still had power. It's good to see you again, Naruto-kun, Hiruzen said. But I'm curious as to why you are here. One of your teams needs a replacement. Naruto said, causing both Hiruzen and Jiraiya to stare at him wide-eyed. And here he is. You. Hiruzen said. Seriously. Wow. I thought you came here to finally reveal to me what your final prank was. Jiraiya said. Naruto shook his head. Later. But for now, I came to help and to warn you. Hiruzen frowned. Orochimaru will be here. I don't know how. I don't when. But he will be here. How do you know this? Hiruzen asked. The pause caused the Hokage to feel tense. He asked me to help with the attack. What? What have I told you about him? Jiraiya shouted. He didn't personally come to me. Naruto replied. He sent his guards, the Sound 5. Anyway, Gaara and the Sand are somehow in on it. And if I don't do my part, Gaara will most likely drown this entire village with his sand. The room grew noticeably quieter. For Hiruzen, he strongly thought about what his former student was up to. It must have been something important if Naruto returned to the village. For Jiraiya, he was thinking about the last meeting the sons of the Yondaime Hokage and Yondaime Kazekage had. Naruto had no idea on how to use the iron sand and barely escaped with his body in one piece. Jiraiya made a mental note to teach Naruto the summoning technique, but till this day the boy had yet to learn it and used Jiraiya's toads to send messages for him instead. You want to be put on a genin team. Come on Gaki, give yourself some credit here. I've seen you take out some pretty strong guys. Jiraiya said. Yeah, but in the bingo books, I'm just a genin. Not even a chunin. Taking this exam will not only save the village, but give an accurate description about me. You want to come in as you are. The teams will wonder. Hiruzen said. You are the Hokage. Lie and tell them that I've been reinstated or something. Naruto said. Either way, I need access to the entire village. I can't get inside the Forest of Death without taking a part of the exam or sneaking in. And I really don't want to do the second one. Fine. Tomorrow, I will announce your reinstatement, first thing. Until then, I suggest you stay out of trouble. Hiruzen said. Naruto grinned beneath his mask. Ah, don't worry. I won't do anything out of the ordinary. That's what I'm afraid of. Hiruzen said. Tayuya and Jirobo both made it to a nearby secret base of Orochimaru. Neither wanted to be the one to tell their master the news, but both knew that if he found out through another source, they would surely die. What are you two doing here? A woman named Krin asked the two beaten children. Tayuya glared at the green-haired woman and muttered two distinct words. Itachi. Uchiha. Krin's light purple eyes widened at the name. What was he doing there? Krin shouted. How should I know? He came looking for that shithead Naruto and just attacked out of nowhere. Tayuya shouted. Oh dear, Krin stated. Orochimaru-sama hasn't fully recovered from surgery yet. I have not received any other messages from either of them. The last I heard, he had selected a trio to single out Sasuke Uchiha, Itachi's younger brother. And who are they? Tayuya asked. Dosu, Zaku, and Kin. Krin said. Tayuya gave a single nod. She was not really friends with any of the three, but from her perspective, they carried out Orochimaru's plans to the best of their abilities. In fact, they put in more effort than the Sound 5 Sans Kimimaro did. Of course, they did not have to go through the laborious missions that Tayuya and the other Sound 5 did, so she could not praise them for everything. Where is the boy? Krin asked. Tayuya paused. Did she really want to admit that they had allowed Naruto to run off to Konoha? Never. He went to infiltrate Konoha. We figured it'd be a waste of time trying to sneak around fatass. What? Jirobo called. Shut it fatass. Tayuya shouted. Krin's facial features showed her confusion. He went to infiltrate the village. To gain information. That shithead knows that if he tries anything, I will castrate him. Tayuya said. The air of fright caused Krin's eyes to go from the redhead girl to the larger boy beside her, who was slowly pushing his legs closer and his hands automatically shifted below his stomach. This girl needs counseling, Krin thought. The place had the stench of mold and must, showing that the caretaker truly did not care for the place. The floors creaked every step he took and the walls had an assortment of color on them at odd spots. This is perfect, Naruto said. Perfect. This place isn't any better than the sewer I'm in. The fox berated. Naruto shrugged. You'll get used to it. Once I do this. Naruto opened his large scroll and looked around. Where'd I put it? Ah. Here it is. After doing the proper hand seals, Naruto slammed both palms onto the seal. Furniture shot up from everywhere. Here we go. You are an idiot, Kyubi said, though the fox was highly surprised by his jailer's resourcefulness. Now, for that smell. Naruto said. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto created 3 clones. Go to the store and get some cleaning stuff. We'll need seals around this place just in case I was followed. And finally, you have the most important job of them all. We need to find some ramen and pronto. Hi. The 3 clones said before leaving to do their missions. So now that you're finally back, I am curious as to what you are going to do next, the fox said. I'm going to do my mission. Naruto said. I'm going to fight Sabuka no Gaara and try to keep as many people standing as I can. I'll make these people see just what a cool shinobi I grew up to be. Believe it. The hundreds of years old fox gave a slight chuckle. Despite his clumsiness, pervertedness, and sheer stupidity, Naruto was also quite observative and beyond the word stubborn. His ninja attributes were well beyond those in his age group. If there was one person who could make the people of Konoha pay, it was Naruto. And just in case he needed help, Kyubi would be right there waiting. So friends, this was episode 1 of this exciting alternate universe adventure. If you enjoyed it and want episode 2 soon, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also comment down your thoughts. Do you think Naruto and Tayuya can truly overcome their past as enemies, or will fate pull them apart once again? I'll see you in the next episode.